This video is how to do the Monarch scarf. That is a free pattern from Fezza Yarns written by Nancy Rieck. This was a request, so I'm showing how it's done. Here's the pattern right here. It's really not a complicated pattern. The part I'm going to show is this section right here where the horizontal bars are done, which kind of gives it the look of a smocking. And it's a 4-stitch repeat. It's knit 2, purl 2. I'm going to just do a little quick one. It won't be as the full size. So if I would start, like I said, with 4-stitch repeat. So there's 2, 3, 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do one more. 2, 3, 4, and I think I need 2 oddballs in order to finish with a knit too. So the setup roll is started on the back side. So you would start with purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2. So you start with a purl stitch and a second purl stitch. Then you do 2 knits. Bring the yarn to the front and do 2 purls. And it's just repetitive, the knit 2, purl 2. You put the yarn to the back whichever way you're the most comfortable. You can separate the needles and slide it in between. Or you can do it, just wrap it over the needles, and when you pull the needles apart, the yarn falls to the back automatically. And same with the purl to the front, you wrap it in the front, and then it just automatically falls to the front when you separate your needles. 1, 2, whoops, I got 2 too many, so we're not going to do the last 2, because you have to end, that's right, we have to end with a purl 2. Okay, so there's your first setup roll. Now after that, it tells you to slip the first stitch as if to knit, and then do the knit 2, purl 2. When you get to the back roll, it's slip 1 stitch as if to purl. So we're going to slip the first stitch as if to knit. Now we're going to knit the second stitch, and we're going to go across and purl. We'll just do 2 rolls of this. There's no need to keep repeating knit 2, purl 2. Most of us already know how to do the knit 2, purl 2. There are several different ways of holding your yarn and holding your needle. This just happens to be the way that I like to hold mine. So everybody holds it according to what they like. I'll go a little bit quicker so we can get to the end, because I want to show how to do the wrap stitch that gives it the look of smocking. Okay, so I've just finished row 1. When you turn it over, now the next row starts with a purl 2. So you slip the first purl, and then you purl the second purl. And then you knit the next 2. And then you purl the next 2. And you just keep doing this, and you follow the pattern. So if you look at this pattern here, it shows you row 1. You slip 1, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2. When you go to row 2, you come from the opposite direction if you're following a chart. So here you'd slip 1 as if to purl. These 2 are purls because on the reverse it's always the opposite. It shows you on the graph over here. So that would be a purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, and you repeat it across till you get to row 7, and that's where the wrap begins. She also has it wrote up here in actual wording. So wrong side row, slip 1, purl waist, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit. Oh, so there's supposed to have been 3 there, not 2. So that's my mistake. But you would have had 3 stitches there instead of the 2 that I did. But that's not too much to worry about. And then on row 7, you slip 1 as purl waist, and then you knit 2, purl 2, and then you do your tie 6, purl 2, tie 6. Well, the tie 6 is what I'm going to show. So here's one where I've done a couple of rows already, and you can see where I've got the tie. This is done on a larger yarn than what the actual shawl is made with. This is the worst of the shawl, is generally done on a sport DK. Or you can actually do it with a lace yarn if you like. And I forgot my stitch holder, so I'm just going to use this as a stitch holder real quick. Okay, so you start with the way you normally would. You slip one, knit one, knit two, yarn over. Now, okay, then purl two. The tie is going to happen on the next 6 stitches. So you would slide the next 6 stitches onto your stitch holder. I'm just using this needle as a stitch holder. After you put the stitches on, you take your yarn and wrap it around the needle twice, around your stitch holder 2 times. And then you would knit and purl them off your stitch holder. I'm going to have to put them back on this needle because I can't do it on a straight knitting needle. Now you could do this too if you wanted to. If you don't want to leave them on your stitch holder, you can put them back on your regular needle if you want. So then you would knit 2, then you would purl 2, then knit 2, and you've just completed the stitch. So now you would purl the next 2 stitches. Now we're ready to do the next one. Same thing again. Slide the 6 stitches onto your stitch holder. Wrap the yarn twice around your stitch holder. 1, 2. So it's wrapped around twice. Maybe I should leave it off to the side so you can see. I'll just pull this down like I have here. Just wrap it around twice. Once, twice. And that's all there is to doing it. Now, like I said before, I'm going to have to put them back on here. You don't have to do this. You can leave them on your stitch holder. But since I'm not using a stitch holder, I'll have to do that. And you pull it tight. You can pull it as tight as you want or leave it loose, whichever you want to do. Then you knit the first 2 off of your stitch holder. Purl the next 2. Knit the next 2, and you just completed the next wrap, or tie. I think they called it tie 6. Then you purl 2. Now you're down to the last 6 stitches. Do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll have 1 stitch left. Okay, let's pull the needle out of the way so you can see what we're doing. This is your stitch holder. Wrap the yarn around your stitch holder twice. I got it caught on the needle. Sure, why not? Then you wouldn't slide them off. You'd leave them on your stitch holder. It's a lot easier leaving them on your stitch holder. But if you are comfortable doing this, you can do this too. Pull it tight if you need to. Knit the next 2. Bring the yarn to the front, purl the next 2. Yarn to the back, knit the next 2, and knit 1. There, now you've got your wraps done. Like I said, you can make them as loose or as tight as you want. It's entirely up to you. On the back side, it just looks like little dashes.